Our next guest is a former Heisman Trophy winner, has played 5 times in the Pro Bowl, and is captain of the Oakland Raiders football team. We're talking about number 81, Mr. Tim Brown.
Yeah, and while some athletes may say that they are not role models, Tim welcomes the chance to work with kids. In fact, he is the national spokesperson for 911 for Kids, a program that shows kids how to use 911 in case of an emergency. In fact, you grew up in Dallas. Welcome home.
Well, thank you very much.
Tim, how you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Let's talk a little bit about the off-season. We were talking before the show. It's kind of nice. You work 6 months a year.
Right.
You work really only on Sundays.
I
You only
hope
work 1 day a
7
week.
months a year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you're a Dallas guy, and I know obviously you most likely grew up as a Cowboy fan, but you're out there playing on the coast with the Raiders.
Yeah, I did grow up a big-time Cowboy fan with Drew Pearson and Tony Dorsett and Tom Landry. I only thing I can think of is growing up and playing for the Dallas Cowboys. But once I was drafted by the Raiders, I was still a Cowboy fan, and it wasn't until Jimmy Johnson took over that I sort of got rid of my Cowboy fantasies. But you know, growing up here, I think my family still has problems with me playing with the Raiders. I think they would still like me to be a Cowboy.
And you spend a lot of time back in Dallas, though. In fact, I said, you know, do you ever make it back home? You're like, Larry, this is my home.
This is home for me. People don't realize. People see me on the street and they say, well, what are you doing in Dallas? This is home. I live here. I was born and raised. Went to Woodrow Wilson High School, and I still make home. I make home in Duncanville right now. And
play a little golf in the off season?
Just a little bit.
Let's go back before we get into the 911 stuff. Let's talk a little bit about your career. I know obviously going to Notre Dame was a big part of kind of molding you and shaping you. Very proud of that. We see you again in action here back in '87.
Back in the day.
Look at that.
It's been 10 years.
10 years. This is actually the 10th year of my 10th anniversary of my Heisman, winning the Heisman a year. It's unbelievable, really. You know, I feel like I'm 25 years old. In reality, I'm going on 31 and going into my 10th season in the NFL.
And there's we see you winning the Heisman Trophy there. That had to be not only for you but for your family right there. Just a tremendous, tremendous accomplishment.
Yeah, my dad, we'll never let him live that white beard down either. So.
And you haven't aged a bit in 10 years.
Well, I tell you what, maybe not on the outside, but on the inside, I think I have.
Tim, let's talk a little bit about your involvement with 911, because I know, obviously, I've got 2 kids. They're 6 and they're 9 years old, and you teach them about 911, but in our conversations, I'm learning there are also some things that kids really need to understand the importance of that number. It's not a play number at all.
It's not a play number, and most of the time, kids, you know, if they lose their dog, they'll call 911 and say, hey, look, I can't find my dog. Can you help me find him? And what GTE and myself we're trying to do is we're trying to let kids know that you can save lives and you can lose lives if the thing is not used properly. So, and we've been able to go around the country and talk to some kids about what's going on, and I think kids are getting the message that what GTE is trying to get over to you is like, hey, look, don't call this number if your cat is up in the tree. You know, if you're home with grandma and she's not answering you, then make the phone call.
Well, and also, if you're going to be a prankster, and let's say, we know that kids are going to make prank calls from time to time, they don't realize that that phone line is used for emergencies, but also the technology is so traceable, they're going to be able to know that you made the prank phone call.
Yeah, and plus what's going to happen is if they don't get someone on the phone once you call and hang up, then they're going to send a policeman out or an ambulance out, and, you know, that could be taking precious time away from someone else.
You know, it's amazing. It's not just kids, because I know obviously kids are going to make the prank calls, but I read a story about a year and a half ago about the mayor of Scottsdale, Arizona, that got lost on the way to a speaking engagement, and she called 911 to get directions. So adults make mistakes too.
It really is, and we found in California alone that $31 million a year is lost just because people are using 911 improperly. So.
And there are some neat stories too that you hear.
Yeah, there are some very good stories. One such story is in Los Angeles. A young kid, his teacher was shot while in the classroom, and he was able to call 911 and get the ambulance in and saved his life.
We've got a tape in terms of, you know, really communicating with the kids about 911, so we'll go ahead and roll that tape and then come back in just a second.
911, what is your emergency?
A little boy just got hit by a car.
Do you need an ambulance? Do you need an ambulance?
She can't see you nodding, Linda. You have to speak up loud and clear.
It's good communication for kids. Speaking
really
of kids, you're getting married, I know, next month. You don't have kids yet, but what is, you know, you're very passionate about working with young people.
I am. You know, I have a ton of nieces and nephews around my house, and this really comes into play a lot with my family, because a lot of the kids are home with my mom all the time, or home with their mothers all the time, and it's important that they know that you know what we're trying to do here is save lives, and GT is doing a great thing, and I'm just very fortunate to be in a position to help out.
Very good. Tim, great to see you.
Great to see you.
All right, thanks
Thanks
guys.
for coming in.
All right.
Good luck in camp.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Former fastest man in the NFL. That's impressive.
yeah.
I like that. If you'd like to obtain the full 20-minute 911 video for kids, or you would like information on 911 for Kids, the safety program for your school, you can call our viewer hotline or the 800 number.
My next guest is a Heisman Trophy winner, captain of the Oakland Raiders. He says the work he does for the Athletes and Entertainers for Kids program helps him sleep better at night. Welcome wide receiver Tim Brown. Tim, come on out here. Hey, Tim. I hear you're heading up a program that teaches kids about 911. Tell us about that.
Yeah, basically what we do is we go around to the communities and the schools and tell the kids the proper use of 911 and not to use it as a joke. And this program can really save lives, and it can lose lives if kids are playing around the phones and things of that nature.
Why do you say you sleep better at night?
Well, if you spend a day with these kids and see the love and attention that they get, and afterwards they come up to you and give you the hugs and the kisses and the high fives and shakes your hands, it really makes you go home and feel pretty good about yourself. And you know, I came from a great family that gave a lot to me, and this is my opportunity to give back.
911 is what you must call. 911 means help for us all. If you're in an emergency, to call for help, just remember these three. We all know emergencies are no fun, but if one should occur, dial 911. Give your address, number, and what you see, and someone will get to you as quick as can be. Now, never take 911 for a joke, only in a real emergency like fire or smoke.